Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me correctly? Yeah?
Yes. How about me? We good?
Perfect. Perfect.
Excellent.
I have to say, I'm surprised about your touring activity. You're playing live shows with non-stop, maybe. I'm wrong, but I'm always receiving inputs about you playing live. I guess just stopping for the recordings of the new album.
I mean, pretty much, man. We had everyone's like, "Oh, you had the whole first half of the year off," and like that's not true. It's insane how like we finished the record in December and doing the mixing, and then the way we recorded this album, we just kind of it was over 2 years in little 2 week stints here and there, and we would just go in and write, and as we were writing, we would record it. So it was kind of this very spur of the moment, like at the moment of inspiration, put it down. And so when it got time to like rehearse the new songs on the record, we knew we'd be out for a few months before the record even dropped. So we had to learn all the songs a few months ago. And like I didn't remember anything I played. I was like, what? So it was like a few months of like pretty intense rehearsals, like kind of relearning what we all did over the last few years on these tracks, and and to try to get it tight, like get it up to our standards where it's muscle memory. And so we've been just going hard since, yeah, we haven't really stopped. I don't know. We're gonna take a
I,
vacation one of these days.
I remember a couple of weeks previously to the last time that played here in Spain. I think it was in November 20.
23.
I remember a couple of weeks ago of that show in Barcelona, in my case, an interview with Joss, and he explains in that time that you were working on the new material that changed the way of you working the new material are very different. That we stayed together during a couple of weeks working on the new songs and then start explaining about the process of the new album.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did. Like we started in I think April 23, went and met with this new producer that we hadn't worked with, Dave Cobb. We were really excited, and we went down to this house in Savannah, Georgia. There's the four of us were living upstairs. The studio was downstairs, and first thing we did was write "Darkness Always Win" just to see if it was. We just wrote a song together, and that was the song to see if we liked working together. And right before that Europe tour in 2023, we were back down there for 2 or 3 weeks, just writing every day and recording. And went back in the spring 24, and then fall 24, and then I think we finished in December. Just did all the finishing touches, and that was it. So it was it was like a 2 year record over really probably like about a month and a half of really working on it. But it was awesome. Like I loved it. It was so inspiring that Lizzie and I, we bought a recording console and we have our own studio now. We're like, why aren't we doing this whenever we're not on the road, we should just be, we're sitting there playing music anyway. Like, why make demos ever again when you can just make masters? So yeah, it was an exciting process. And I think you can kind of hear it in the recording. There's excitement that happens at the moment of inspiration, that if you're just making a demo and then you have to try to recreate the excitement when you're in the studio, and we didn't have to worry about that this time. It was cool.
Mhm. Let me say my impression about the new album because I've been listening in the last days a
Please.
couple of times. Um, it's sober, introspective, dark, and thoughtful, but some of the hardest song of your career. It's one of that records that you can listen to from the beginning to the end, in my opinion. Are you agree?
Oh, totally. I mean, this is my favorite record we've ever made, and it is dark, and I think that's okay. Lizzie really took the reins, which she always does anyway, lyrically. She's the one singing it, and I like throwing ideas at Lizzie, but like she takes it and she really makes it personal, her own thing. And she, like anybody, this is not the easiest business, and you're sitting there in the spotlight a lot, and you change. And as you get older and you realize, hey, we've been doing this 20 years, like what the hell? I can't believe we're still going. and as you change, but you're still doing songs from your, I don't know. it's a like a kind of a mind fuck. And so she, she was going through it and writing about it, and I think it's very personal. A lot of these songs are very personal for her.
Listening to the album, I was thinking right now about the lyrics because with the titles and listening to the lyrics, it's like you said, very personal, very sentimental, very deep.
Yeah, and a lot of this was just conversations that we were having, like Everest. We're just like I was just saying, like, can't believe we're still doing that. Why do we do this? Why do people like why do people like want to keep going, like play this music? What drives you to keep like hustle like we do, and just like when we're not touring, we're writing and recording, and we just have to. I don't know what it is. What? Why do you keep doing that? And it's like kind of equivalent to like climbing Everest. Like, why would somebody do that? There's bodies along the way. Not many people get out of rock and roll in good shape. A lot of folks get run over by the rock and roll train, and it can be brutal. But and what is it? When you get to the top, there's not like a prize. It's not like
Right.
you made it, and it's just a different new hustle always. And I thought she captured, lyrically, I thought that was so brilliantly captured in that Everest song, and just talking about things like that. Like this is a personal journey, this one, and we had a lot of talks too about how like with certain songs, we always used to like there always used to be answers like I am the fire, I'm strong, and there's this hope, and like maybe there isn't always hope. Sometimes you feel a little hopeless, and maybe there is no answer in this song. Maybe it's just an observation, and that's, I think, kind of exciting places to go lyrically that are different from our
Co-
past records.
Considering how is the world today, I don't know if hope is the
Yeah. Hope is in short supply right now, and I think it's okay to reflect that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You mentioned Lizzie, and your partnership with Lizzie is one of the most enduring in modern rock. What makes your collaboration work after all these years successful? Because and every new release, in my opinion, it's a little bit better than previous.
Um, that's interesting, and I'm glad. I like your opinion on that. I agree. And one thing that like I guess it's just our work ethic or something, but like after every show we sit and we talk. I mean, I feel like most bands do, but like, all right, this is what was great. This is, we're always trying to get better, and like always trying to get better. You get better. Like I'm practicing guitar most days and doing lessons, and it's like how do you improve upon this? And we've been doing it a long time, and we still love it, like love it to death. And so hopefully you're getting better. It's always a bummer. There's some bands that we've toured with that are, a generation older than us, and we played with them back, 20 years ago, and played with them again recently. It's like, oh, you're doing the same exact show you did 20 years ago. Like, I don't even know how that could be fun. Like, how, like they didn't get any better. It's like they stalled out when they had a few hits and stopped trying, and that's sad to me because I don't know, it's so much fun, like getting up on stage and being excited.
And maybe you challenge each other, and there are
Oh,
moments when
absolutely.
when maybe there are moments when your visions collide, but you resolve this tension creatively.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're all the four of us in the band are we're like deadly honest with each other, and it's not no one's out to get anybody. It's all love. But if somebody is fucking up, it's like, hey, that's not working. Here's why I think it's not working. What do you think? We discuss it. It's not we don't really get into arguments. We just have discussions, and like it does, it's a rock and roll show. We don't use computers or anything or click tracks, and we're very kind of raw dog. It's the four of us out there with as much noise as we can make, and so every night is different, and we change the set list every night, and we have improv things. So it's not always going to be perfect, and I don't think it should. It's a rock and roll show. Like perfect rock and roll shows are so weird to me. It's kind of the antithesis of the art. But when you have a band out there that's just all computers, it's like why you guys? They're just dancers. And like why do you even stress? You should play every night of the week. You could make way more money. Like you don't have to. do anything. Just go up and dance.
The-
I think we're we're lucky that we've explored that level of communication between the four of us. I mean, especially Lizzie and I. We're just deadly honest with each other, and it to me that's like the highest form of love is to be able to, to not to truly like respect someone enough to be honest with them. Like there's people that we have to bullshit to because we don't really fucking like them. No, it's like, yeah, it's great. Like whatever, but not between us. It's how we keep it's how we keep everything moving, I feel like.
Returning to the album, there's three songs that surprised me especially: "Fallen Angel," "Watch Out on Killing," and they are very rude, dark, and heavy. Do
Yeah.
these songs on the record reflect the anemic moment of the band in some way?
It is it's weird out there, and we're not like a political band at all, but but you can feel the feelings that the world is kind of going through right now. And and like and it's dark, there's a lot of hate going out and things that used to be taboo or norm, and and we want to be we're a hard rock band. We like to dip into some metal every once in a while, and that felt right for this record, to
But these songs maybe are have a bars with metal, very metal.
yeah. I mean, we love metal, we love hard rock, and I know, you look on the forums and Hailstorm isn't metal or whatever, and that's we're not trying to be anything but ourselves, whatever that may be. um and with like all these riffs and stuff in the music, it's just it feels good, so we're doing it, and like and I we love some big heavy riffs, and especially putting that out in a live setting is that's as much fun as you can have on 2 feet, if you ask me. So
Talking about the riffs and guitars, the guitars sounded great. Do you
thank you.
experiment with a wide range of tones or textures or something new that you have to to record new things to do? Because sounds very powerful, especially in these songs. Because I have to say, the first time I listened to the album with Fallen Angel. My my face is wow. What's this? Is this the new Halestorm record or what's this? A new death metal band or?
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I'm glad that that was your reaction like that, especially with like starting with that song was very on purpose and uh with intention. And like I kind of I had that batch of riffs with that intro for a little while now, and we've been kind of sitting on it trying to figure out what to do. And I always wanted to start a record with a riff that's just going too long and just release it into something, and it starts the ride. And I think it worked out perfect for this record. And even like the Watch Out, and that's my favorite guitar solo I've done so far. Got out of the pentatonic thing, and Dave Cobb was really cool, and he would really push us. We kind of we wanted to work with him so that we were uncomfortable because we'd done the last few records and EPs with Nick Raskulinecz, who's like one of my favorite dudes of all time. But we were just like, hey, we got to shake this up. Sorry, Nick. We asked Dave to do the record, and he did. He made us uncomfortable because comes from such a different place and has such a different style. And it was awesome. Like that, when you get pushed like that, like you're writing in the moment, you have one take and you do something and you move on. And like some of the songs, we didn't have a click track, and we just that was when we were writing it. That was the take that sounded best, so we just went with that and built on that. And yeah, that like tones, whatever works, whatever sounds best works. So just experimenting and diving in. It was a blast.
Mhm. You mentioned Dave Cobb, and it's something that I would like to ask about Dave because he's a producer that everybody is talking about in the last years, and a lot of people and musicians wants to work with him in the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I first heard his name on those early Rival Sons record and Jason Isbell's record. Uh and I kept seeing his name pop up, like the Chris Stapleton, like who is this guy? And see Dave Cobb, and then like Brandy Carlisle, like who? And it's Dave Cobb, and you see Greta Van Fleet's new records, Dave Cobb, and like who is this guy? And we ran into him backstage at a Stevie Nicks concert. It was the first time we met him quite a few years ago, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know you guys." And we're like, "Oh, Dave Cobb knows who we are, cool." And when we reached out to him for this record, he was like, "I'm in. I haven't, like I have ideas. Let's work together." And I'm really glad that we did, and I'm glad that he wanted to work with us because it was really exciting and like uncomfortable at times, and that's how, to me, how it should be. Like pushing our boundaries and what we're comfortable with, and seeing what comes out.
The new album is called Everest. What has your own Everest been these past few years of outside the studio and stage? Or maybe something related with the band or music?
Yeah, I mean, really, like this is what we do. We're pretty we're pretty like, especially Lizzie and I, we're just lifers here. We kind of wake up and think about music and the band and how we can do things better, and like this whole career, this whole band is our definitely our Everest. We want to see how high we can climb up the mountain of rock and roll, especially in a time when rock and roll isn't really pop music, anymore. And we're down in the sewer, like Alice Cooper told us. He's like, we're down in the sewers where we're always supposed to be. Occasionally it pops up onto the street, and the whole world gets to see it, but we're back down where we're supposed to be. And so, you gotta like make a living. We have to work twice as hard. And we have a woman, obviously a woman fronted band, and I feel like even these days women still have to work 5 times as hard as men to get just as far. Like you still hear on from radio people like, we already have a woman on our top 20," and it's like, what? What? This shouldn't have anything to do with it, but that's just the reality of it, and it's fine. Fuck it. We're, you know, we're doing what we love. So yeah, it's like that's a tough question. Like, what outside of this band is our Everest when it's kind of our focus in life?
You mentioned about climbing this, well, or your position right now in the rock scene. I don't know exactly in the States, but here in Europe, I think you grow up a lot in the last years, playing more in bigger venues. For example, in Barcelona, in 2023, you play in Apollo, and this time you will play in a bigger place, in one of the
Cool.
biggest places in Barcelona, referring to this kind of venues. Yeah, and that tour you play a lot of dates in each country, 2 or 3 dates. Um, Here in Europe, I think you're growing up a lot in the last years. I don't
I
know
you know,
if you have the same feeling.
I think so, and you never know. Like, I mean, just the last month was some of the most insane shit of our lives. We were opening up for Iron Maiden, playing stadiums, and like in one week we did London's Olympic Stadium with like 75,000 people with Maiden, and then the Back to the Beginning, the Sabbath gig, which was just like mine. It was like, where do you go from here? You know, and now our record's coming out, so we'll see. Hopefully, people like the record and buy tickets. All we can do is the best we can do, and it seems like it keeps growing, which is awesome. And that's what we hope for.
That's something that I would like to ask about this last month because playing in the stadiums, as you mentioned, with Maiden, 75,000 people it's crazy.
It's
And
crazy.
after this, the back to beginning, I think the band is still in like all the wall in shock. Playing last 5 of July with Ozzy in the same stage, and 3 weeks later,
Yeah, yeah, such a bummer. And what a that was. I think that's going
crazy.
to be. Yeah, I think that show and more like the feeling of it at the show is like something that's just going to be stuck with us forever. The like we got there Thursday. The show was Saturday. We got there Thursday to have our sound check, and like I walked off the bus, and like Tool was just standing around rehearsing, and like everyone was just kind of hanging out backstage, and it was. everyone was so happy and excited to be there and to be able to send Ozzy and Sabbath off and to get to see him one last time, you know. And it was a love fest. It was like it was so much positivity, and it was, you know, no one was getting paid. It was all for charity, and and like we were talking to Adam Jones from Tool, and we're like, yeah, can you believe this? Like it's like a bucket list thing, and he was like, yeah, but you know, it's like the hidden bucket list. You didn't know it was on there, and it just showed itself, and all of a sudden we're here, and like going around the city of Birmingham on those nights was it was black and purple decorated everywhere, metalheads everywhere. Everyone was just so excited, you know. And then at the show, like we were out in the middle of the crowd to watch when Ozzy came out, and like I don't know, there was some like when you're around 45,000 people and you get on the same emotional wavelength with all these people, you know, and like he started Mama, I'm Coming Home, and it was like, oh my God, you know, like everybody was crying, you know, like it was such an intense feeling. Like the vibe was so amazing. Like and Ozzy's clapping like this is the last time we get to clap with Ozzy. Like we are gonna clap with Ozzy, you know, and it was just the love of this music and this genre that these guys created, and nobody would be there without them. And like and all those fans are lifers in this genre, you know, like and all those bands and the people working the crew and everything are like lifers in this business, you know, and it's just, you know, kind of a moment to stop and smell the roses and pay respect and just love this music and these people. And it was awesome. Like I don't know if we'll ever be able to feel anything like that again. And I'm so glad that the world really tuned in. Like I don't know if there can ever be like a metal event this big ever again. Like it's just really seems like it all came together.
I think this kind of things, this kind of shows, and with the streaming, 5 million people or 6 million people see the show.
Insane.
Amazing, insane,
Yeah.
insane. And I think this will be remembered for a lot of years, and will be one of the that moments in metal history, I think.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. And like it, like, I just can't believe we were there and got to play and Sharon wanted us there. And that's mind blowing to me. Like that, I remember when that email came in, we're like, what? Seriously? Us? All right. I mean, we'll drop anything. Like, we didn't care what was going on. We were going to be there,
There's
you know?
million of bands, and you're writing to us.
Yeah, I know exactly. And they had 10 bands on that show. That was it out of all of the metal and hard rock in the world. All right, awesome. Can't believe
A
it.
a more personal question. Do you ever feel like there's a Joe Hostinger that fans don't really see, a side of yourself that doesn't get to come out much in public or in on a stage?
Oh, I don't, I'm sure, you know, like probably, I'm sure something I do would shock them, but if anybody was hanging out with me or Lizzie or any of us long enough, they would just realize that, you know, we're pretty married to this music and that's what we kind of think about all the time. And they probably wouldn't be that shocked, honestly. Like, oh, you're just talking about the show again, or you're listening to new music again. Or yeah, okay, that's kind of what we do.
And related with that, do you have any side projects or creative outlets that allow you to explore musical ideas beyond Halestorm?
Um, not so much, not no, not like musically. We are doing this all the time, but like I do I'm a photographer too, so I it's fun to get kind of it's a different mindset, turn the brain into a different gear and kind of start focusing on that. And it to me like photography is fun because it's I don't know why it's like music. Like I don't know why I'm obsessed with it and I love it so much, but I do. And I love, you know, love reading the light and but especially just like old Jim Marshall shots and like the old rock and roll shots of like backstage, like you see Keith Richards and like that's cool, it's Keith. But like what is that behind him? Oh, there's a bottle of Jack. Like so he was drinking Jack and there's like some weird bread thing. You know, it's like I love seeing like a look into the world of old touring and or even like whoever, anyone that's taking great photos. There's so much to be told and such a story, and to be able to like take pictures like that and to you know to up it and have it be kind, you know. there's got to be a story with it. There's so much more than just pushing the button. There's so much intention behind it, and like good music or like improving a solo, intention is everything, you know. And I think searching for that through photography is a great outlet that I love to do, you know, in between playing guitar and working on music.
I have to explain something. Uh, 2 years ago, in 2023, when you play in Hellfest in France, I was at home and watching the show in the streaming on the TV.
Yeah.
My little daughter, 8 years old, passed in front of the TV just on the moment that Lizzie appears on the stage with that scream. You remember?
Yeah.
And my daughter stands in front of the TV like this. Since that day, she's a fan of the band, and
Oh,
every time that appears, I'm listening your music or something like that. Oh, this is Halestorm, Daddy. Uh,
that's so cute.
and then
Man,
she wants to come with to the show in Barcelona next
oh,
autumn.
you got to bring her out. You got to bring her out, Lizzie. I know Lizzie would love to meet her. Man, it's like there's a lot of like kids that are at our shows, you know, young kids, and especially the little girls. Like there was a girl at the last show in Houston the other night, on her dad's shoulder, and she had a little sign like my first concert, and she had her Hailstorm shirt on, and like the way these little girls look at Lizzie when she's up there, it, like melts my heart. Like it's so they're just like, what is going like they're watching like a superhero or something, you know, and it's so cool to see because you see them just processing like I
But
can girls
let,
can
let,
do that.
let me be clear, Lizzie, it's a kind of force of nature with that
Yeah.
voice, and I don't know how their voice is not damaged with that screaming. It's
Me neither. And
amazing.
you know what's really weird is that she keeps getting better. I, like it doesn't make sense to me. You know, we played with Heaven and Hell, and it was actually Ronnie James Dio's last show ever, in Atlantic City in New Jersey in 2009. And it was just a one-off. We were in the middle of a tour and had a day off, and they needed an opener because Coheed had dropped off. Couldn't play the last show, and we're like, hell yeah, we'll be there. We were in the area anyway, and so that was like we met Ronnie, and he like walked up to Lizzie and he like grabbed her by the cheek. He's like, "You've got it, girl." He's like, "You got it. You're so good." And which is like what coming from Ronnie, that was such a cool thing because we were we have a friend of ours who's a singer in a big band, and I guess he met Ronnie years before, and like Ronnie, like, what are your vocal warm-ups? Like, what are you doing? And he was just like, if you got to warm up, you don't got it, kid. That's what he told him. I was like, so I thought it was cool that he told Lizzie that like you got it, and you know she does have it. She's got. I've been lucky enough that occasionally I get to watch her sing. You know, when she like I watched her sing with Slash. I watched her sing at the country music awards when Eric Church asked her to come and sing on this big national TV broadcast thing, and like she's got something in her voice that like gives you chills when she like there's certain notes she hits and approaches. I don't know what it is. It's like this inhuman thing. I like at that CMA Awards, I was out in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, kind of like she hit the note in the bridge of that song she did, and I literally like I got chills, and I watched the chills go up to the top. You could see like the wave of energy like hit to the top of the room. It was awesome. Like same thing happened when she did a song with Slash in Amsterdam one time, and I was like, "Whoa, wow, that was the magic." That was I don't know what that is, but some people got that thing that just is. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think she is inspiring a lot of girls. I don't know if playing instruments, but listening to rock music, and it's very important today. It's very
It is.
important.
No, she is. I mean, there's more girls in the rock and metal scene now than there's like 100 times more than when we started playing festivals and shows. It used to be she was the only female at the festival, you know, and now I mean there'll be 5 to 10 female fronted bands there now, which is awesome. I think it's so cool. And I think I mean my opinion, I agree with you. I think she's inspired the shit out of a bunch of people. And a girl's got to see that girls can do it, and Lizzie's doing it. And that's really
And
cool.
okay, thanks for your time, man, and see you this next autumn in my case in Barcelona.
Yes, and bring your daughter and come say hi. That'd be very cool.
Will be fantastic, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Howard. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.